I have often wondered why I became a profiler or why I even wanted to go into law enforcement. Of course, as a kid, I'm watching all the TV shows. You know, I used to watch FBI. The FBI was in the FBI, obviously, and watched Police Woman. Just the first introduction of women into law enforcement. And I thought, well, maybe those things influenced me. But, you know, then I remembered an experience I had as a 6-year-old kid. My parents had just gone through a divorce, and I was living in Las Vegas. My dad moved back out to the south where he was from in Louisiana. And my mother and I lived in a studio apartment. And she was a waitress there in Vegas at the Flamingo Hotel. And so one afternoon, a knock came at our door. And she kind of peeked through the blinds to see who was out there. And she saw that it was a cop. And she told me, she says, look, I'm going to take you into the bathroom. I'm going to put you out through the window. And I want you to go around to the manager. Tell the manager to come back up here. Tell this cop that I'm not here. Nobody's here.
Very intricate plan. I also feel like she had thought about this before this happened.
That's right. She
for
planned
reasons.
this in case this happens.
Or she's great on the fly planning. So
both. Yeah, for her, she was something. So she takes me into the bathroom, opens the bathroom window, and she starts to let me down through the over that window. And she stops. She brings me back out. She says, we're not doing this. She walks back to the front door, opens the door. Police officer introduces himself. Are you? She identifies herself. And he says, well, I have a warrant for your arrest. She said, well, what for? Parking tickets. Now, this is in Vegas. Of course, this is a long time ago. Mm-hmm. I'm 70, going on 71. I was 6 years old at the time. Vegas was a different world back in those days. You know, they actually arrested people for parking tickets. And it's not the Metropolitan Police Department that you're familiar with today. So, and as it was, he arrested her. But he couldn't leave me by myself, so he brings me with him and takes me down to the police department. And she's going to have to spend the night in jail, if you can imagine. She couldn't post bail. He didn't have the money for bail. But she happened to know a detective on the police department as a result of waitressing at the Flamingo. They used to come in and eat, and she knew this guy in the detective division. So she contacted him. Once she got to the police department, she rang down there and contacted him and said, look, I'm in a bind. I need your help. I'm going to be here till tomorrow morning. I've got to post bail in the morning. I don't have it tonight. Would you watch my boy? Now, you think they do that today?
In my head, as you're telling the story, I'm wondering how fast CPS would be called.
Exactly.
And then my second thought is our world better because that's the path we would take now? Exactly. Or is our world better when you could call somebody you barely knew and you could trust them with your kids?
Exactly. You know, and what did he do? Oh, yeah, I'll take care of it.
This is your first ride along, no big deal.
Yeah. So he takes me, he comes down to the jail, picks me up, walks me over to the detective division, and he sits me down with the secretaries, and they're giving me pencils and paper and crayons that they bring from their own kids that they've got in their purse. And I'm just having a great old time. And he takes me home to his family that night to spend the night. And I can remember, I was 6 years old. I can remember as if it was today, introducing me to his family. And he had a normal, what I would call a normal family at that time. Here I am with my single mother. And he's got 2 kids. And they sit around the kitchen table and having dinner. And they include me as if I'm a member of the family. His wife didn't know who I was, but did she mind? Oh, not a bit. She was more than happy to have me. And I can remember when all the evening activities were done, the games were over, it's time to go to bed. He and his wife take me into a guest bedroom and tuck me into this bed. And they kiss me on my forehead. And that's what happened. And I know that has had to have been the thing that has hooked me. I've never forgotten that. For whatever reason, I identified with that man and wished that I could have told him what became of me and my career. But what kindness can do, and the little things that people do in young people's lives, the difference that it can make. And considering the background that I came from, it made all the difference, because a police officer was willing to bring me home to his family and stay with him for a night.
That's an amazing thing.
Yeah, it's something I think about a lot. And it's still an emotional thing for me too, as an old guy, I'm thinking back, those feelings all emerge as a kid today, as
Yeah.
if I was just experiencing it. But I think for me, that's where that first introduction came. And because of my youth and family life, questionable male examples in my life, they came not within the family but outside the family. My best friend's father, my police chief when I got hired. These people were mentors to me. John Douglas is a mentor. He's a very, very good friend. We're like brothers who like each other. But
As you say, I can go one of two
yeah,
ways. Yeah.
yeah.
Fist fight brothers and
That's
brothers who
right.
like each other.
And so those mentors have made all the difference in my life. But I do remember people in my life also that presented just the opposite type of an example. But I identified with these other men in my life that made all the difference for me.